Yeah, Nicole, in his first 3 days in office, President Biden penning 19 executive orders into action, and they're policies that are bringing sweeping change and are in stark contrast to what we saw happen during the Trump administration. And of course, one of the big ticket items, like you're talking about, is immigration. And tonight we take a closer look at what that means for the DACA program and the hundreds of thousands of dreamers who call America home.
Seeing Biden not only embrace us but protect the program means the world to us. You know, we want to be a part of this country. This is what we know.
Tomas Evangelista lives in California. He was brought to the United States by his mother when he was 2 years old, the family fleeing Mexico in search of a better life. Carla Palma was 4. She's now a nursing student in Arkansas.
I want to be a part of a statistic of the ones that did pursue higher education and that are bettering themselves.
They are both dreamers, 2 of the 700,000 recipients who benefit from DACA, a program that protects immigrants from deportation who came to the United States as children, providing them the opportunity to work and attend school.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
In his first hours in office, President Joe Biden penning 19 executive orders. Immigration policies top of the list.
To responsibly manage the border, keep families together, grow our economy, address the root causes of migration from Central America.
The 46th president also calling on Congress to preserve DACA and grant permanent legal status and a path to citizenship for those dreamers.
It's definitely a welcome message to myself and other immigrants, specifically DACA recipients who have spent the last 4 years fighting this administration, fighting for our lives, for our right to stay here in the country we've only known as home.
Perhaps Biden's most ambitious proposal was an immigration bill that would offer potential citizenship to anybody who came to the United States before January 1st, an estimated 11 million people. But Republicans like House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy not happy with the dismantling of many Trump-era initiatives.
The new administration was more interested in helping illegal immigrants than helping our own citizens. Americans need our help at home, and that's where our focus must remain. That means Congress needs to step up as well.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton suing the Biden administration over its 100-day moratorium on certain deportations, saying in a tweet, "When the Joe Biden administration breaks the law, I take action. As AG, I will always put Americans, Texans first, not dangerous aliens who must be deported." But following Biden's inauguration, dreamers like Palma say they feel safe and can continue to plant roots in American soil.
Not just in my community, but in others. I feel like it was definitely a day of hope and a new beginning.
And also worth mentioning, too, in the wake of this new presidential leadership, many popular ports of entry like that between El Paso, Texas and Juarez being temporarily shut down this week after families flooded to the border trying to cross over to seek asylum in the United States. And in an effort to avoid that kind of rush, Biden's top national security advisors warning and signaling that it could take months to undo some of the Trump immigration policies that we saw put into play. Keep in mind, too, Texas, just the first state to file suit, but many of these sweeping changes are likely to be met with more legal challenges in the future. For now, reporting live in Dallas, Marky Martin, News Nation.